Hey, welcome to episode 41
Welcome,
of
welcome.
Link On. With I'm Brian.
I'm Rhys in the office.
We're here at linkjapancareers.net. Go to our site, look at our job
Japan.
board, follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest,
Yep.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn,
Where else? YouTube,
YouTube,
etc.
possibly Line one day.
Line. Yeah,
One
we're
day
working
soon.
on line. We're gonna get line to you soon. So, guys, go to linkjapancareers.net. Actually, it's over here, and you can see it on the screen. You can scan that, share it with your friends, invite your friends,
Invite your
and
family. Invite
yeah,
everyone.
yeah, definitely, and have a good one. So it's been a while since we've done one of these shows. It's been a busy season.
It's been crazy. And you guys living in Japan probably know that. For those of you living outside of Japan, you probably know that as well. It's just been crazy. Yeah.
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 Let's get right to the jobs. Actually,
Yep. Let's
let's
do
not
it.
waste time. Let's get right to the
Go.
jobs. And I'm bringing up the page here so we can look
Swish.
at the jobs. And let's make this go up to the top. And let's go to the jobs,
Choo, 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 choo,
find
choo.
jobs. And this is how it works. You go to our page and find jobs like this. And you'll see. And here we are. So our number one at the top here is After School English Teacher Sendai.
Mm-hmm.
This is a new one.
It is, and it's also a new school. So this school, English Company School, it's part of a very well-known chain. Probably not as well known for English speakers, but it's very well known in Japan. And this is one of their franchise schools, and they're looking for an experienced teacher to join their new school and handle amongst all the teaching things, and curriculum planning, also some basic admin office work. So I think this is a great job, Brian. If you were looking at perhaps maybe getting a bit more experience, maybe a bit more responsibility
Mm-hmm.
from your current sort of teaching job, and you sort of want to take that next step, it's a very good position. If you're living in Sendai, it's a very good position. It's very accessible from the main station. Just I think a 10 or 15 minute commute from there. So pretty good. Anything else you wanted to add on this one, Brian?
No, no, it's Sendai's a great place. I used to live there,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
definitely recommend it. Um,
Yeah.
okay,
So,
next one
sorry.
is okay. Interact positions have gone to fall. Right.
Yeah, that's a really good point to make. Maybe for all of you guys that are still interested in applying for Interact, we're still accepting applications, but we're now starting to move our focus to fall. So,
Right.
uh, Brian, you sort of handle that a bit more than I do. You want to tell everyone a little bit about
Yeah.
that?
It says fall, but if you
Mm,
apply there and you're available to start earlier, and we have a position, then it's no problem.
yeah.
Right. And we have positions that are open. You should go take a look at the map. Actually, on our blog over here, you can see here the interactive map and Spring 2021 Interact Locations map. You can go right here, and there's a Google map live with all the positions and the areas where we're looking for people. So just search your place, drill down there, and if you see a dot or see the Interact globe somewhere near, then click on that. It'll take you to the application link. If you click inside, you'll see here, and here's the application link right there. And there's some information and a video you can watch, and it's all cool. Um, so have a look at that. That's also on Interact's page as well, so can't miss it. And South and okay, these are Interact positions. Next one, after school English teacher Utsunomiya.
Yeah, so this is the same franchise that we mentioned that's just opened in Sendai. They also have a new school opening in Utsunomiya. Very, very similar role. The only difference is it's in Utsunomiya. It's, yeah, again, very, very accessible to the main stations. Um, Great position, guys, if you're sort of living in the area, open to moving to the area, or and you're just sort of looking for, I think, that in-between step. I know a lot of teaching professionals out there. You guys move on from the ALT or maybe the ACAWA role, and you sort of want to get to maybe that university level, but you might not have the experience, or you might want to move into an office position, but you don't have the experience. These sorts of roles, I think, are really good to get that sort of foot in the door. Stick them out for 12 months, and you'll have the sort of basic HR admin skill set to then move further into, an office role, or move further into an education role if that's your passion too. So check it out. Salary is fair. Yeah, visa sponsorship available. Please apply.
Yeah, a lot of places now are doing sponsorship that weren't doing it before.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point to make there, Brian. Like, we do have a lot of places. I hear that there are a lot of people trying to move on from maybe being a language student, and we do have some positions available that can do sponsorship for you as well. So check out the site at linkjapancareers.net.
Next one is teaching material development, faculty
Yes.
leader.
Now, this is with a company. Almost certainly, if you've lived in Japan for a period of time, you will have seen their ads, maybe even on the trains. It's a very well-known education. Um, I don't know how you describe them, like a school. It is an institute, but they also have a lot of sort of like business development within the English industry. Different to the test one, which we'll come to later, which is also a well-known industry. This one, guys, I'm not going to gild the lily. It's a higher salary, as you can see. It's
Yeah,
expected 5 million to 8 million Japanese
right.
yen per annum. However, um, there are some fair requirements here.
Yeah, these requirements are kind of steeper than normal.
Yeah, and I'll just be honest and say maybe one of them will be negotiable. Most of them are pretty, the client has said this is what we want. They're prepared to pay the price.
Right.
So if you, yeah, and again, this is my point going back before. Maybe you want this type of job and you can't get it immediately. But if you do something like the one before, get that 12 months under your belt, then you can sort of move towards something like this. But the requirements are here, N2 equivalent or higher, that will need to be certified, and they're going to want you to have an MBA or a master's degree. Those are the two hard requirements, and the other stuff is just more, I would say, soft skills, but there's a high expectation on them. So the logic thinking, all-round communication skills, team management. They want to see someone that's had some degree of managing teams for a period of time, and native English or equivalent. That's yeah, that is what it is. There's some great perks. They do have a self-development subsidy of up to 200,000 yen per year, and they also have a fair no dress code, flexible work hours. Yeah, so it's a pretty swish job. Trying to think, if they're not an international company, and they are well known internationally, if they're not an international company, they're a very internationally minded company. So yeah, worth applying if you're
Sounds like
interested.
it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If it sounds like your cup of tea, check it out.
Yeah.
Faculty leader. Mm.
Okay, next one. Head teacher. Yeah. 23
Yep,
ward area.
yep. Do you want to step us through this one, Brian?
This one?
Mm. Why not?
Yeah, so 3 million to 4.5 million, and some locations Shinjuku, Shimuigusa, Kitasuna, or Kasai. And they're developing a new curriculum and training teachers. And it'd be visiting schools in Tokyo and doing training and substitute teaching, that kind of head teacher kind of stuff. And the requirements here: enjoy working with children, have experience experience with curriculum development, language training, language teachers. Appreciated translating and interpretation experience. They're a cram school
Mm.
network, basically. So that kind of private industry education institution. Yeah, if you're looking for an entry level education management job, this is probably a good one,
Mm.
I'd say. If you're not at the level requiring the master's degree and from the other one there, you'll probably be better suited for this one.
Mm. Mm.
And teacher editor, test content specialist here in Shinjuku.
Yeah, we've had this one up for a little bit of time, guys. So some of you might be thinking, well, this was posted April 21st. Surely you guys have filled it, or if you haven't filled it, it must be impossible. It's not the case. It's actually for more of a later start. And the start time is sort of negotiable between successful applicants and the company to a degree. So it's still very much a hot job. It's still very much open. We are introducing people to the client actively, with a very, very well-known education test company in
Yeah,
Japan.
major.
Definitely major. Yeah, if you have been in ALT, you will have heard of them ad nauseum.
I'd say
So,
even if you've been in Eikaiwa, you've heard of
yeah,
them too.
yeah.
If you've been in English language teaching in any form other than maybe preschool,
Mm.
you've heard of them.
Actually though, Brian, that being said, I was a preschool teacher once, and we did do classes for them too. It was like
Oh, I
an
guess
English.
preschool does have it. They have a young
So
learners
yeah,
version.
they do for like English concentrated international schools. That's the word I'm looking
Ah,
for.
I
Yeah,
get it.
they sometimes do it too.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So the requirements, it looking at this, you think like, oh, you know, maybe if you're an English major or something, you could do this.
Mm.
Especially someone knowing the Chicago Manual of Style, which I had to learn in school,
Yeah, I did too.
and writing materials for publication or something. I think they want something a little more than just writing a blog.
Mm. This is true. I mean, like, if you guys have experience writing a blog, I would say still apply. But it's sort of, yeah, they're looking for someone that's maybe done some slight publication stuff, and that could even be like, you wrote an article and it's appeared somewhere, published somewhere.
Right.
That's also acceptable. So a blog, maybe, but if you've wrote something and it's appeared on a website or someone else's blog, and this being a pretty established person, then I think that's something. Um, you'll notice here that it has the N2. Unlike the other job we sort of mentioned, this is more soft. If you have a speaking ability that's you feel is an N2 level, and I think if it is or not. Don't lie to yourself,
Right.
but you will know. Then apply, because that's not as hard as the other ones where it's more of a strict requirement.
Yeah, I think back here where it says interest or background in language testing or applied linguistics a plus, they are actually looking for someone who
Yeah,
knows something about the subject,
I think
about
that's
language,
yeah,
right? So if you've taken Linguistics 101,
yep,
you'd probably be okay.
yep. Your Skinner and your Chomsky and yep,
You have
all
to know
that.
what a phoneme is.
A phoneme, yeah,
A phoneme,
a
you know.
phoneme, phonology, yeah,
Yeah, like what syntax, phonetics, phonemics, those kind of things are.
all the foes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What else do
Great
we got
benefits
here?
too. Mm.
English conversation instructor key to Kyushu.
Yeah, these ones,
This is
you'll
the
know.
same as Utsunomiya, right?
No, no, no. These
Oh,
ones are a different English school. This is more of an Eikaiwa, again, a fairly well-known Eikaiwa. Um, and these positions have been out for a while,
right.
but they're kind of like, we're constantly recruiting for them. So it's not
Mm,
like there's one position. It's throughout the year, or through until that we're sort of told that they don't need anymore.
right.
So
And we have the same one here in Hiroshima,
yeah, right.
Okayama.
So it's mostly west side we're focusing on now, guys. So
Right.
if you want to be an Eikaiwa teacher, or you're sort of thinking maybe you're done where you are and you want to still do Eikaiwa, please apply here. Mostly west, but we do have positions not around Japan. I wouldn't say all around Japan, but we do have them around Japan. So please
Right.
apply. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the open jobs.
That's
And
it.
please go check us out at linkjapancareers.net. And if you're interested, you want to get a job, apply for one of them. Apply for
Yeah.
more than one of them.
Apply for
That's
all
fine.
of
Apply for all of them. That's fine with us.
them.
Okay, so our second half today, we're going to talk about one of our blog articles that's
Mm.
on our blog at linkjapancareers.net.
Yeah,
And
this is a hot topic that I think a lot of people may have strong feelings for, but might not actually know what the official sort of numbers are. So let's talk about them, Brian. Let's talk about them.
so it's our article here you'll see titled Highest Paying Jobs for Foreigners. Right, and let's bring that back up on the full screen so you guys can see it. And if you're at home, then definitely read along, open up our site and
Yeah,
have a read.
and this is, I think, topic, guys, is just as valid for people who are living in Japan as
Yeah,
it is for you guys who want to come to Japan. So
right,
there is, of course, the COVID thing, but we know there's a lot of you guys that are waiting to come to Japan, but maybe you don't quite know what the market value here is in Japan, and
right,
that's where I think a lot of us get, myself included, have become a little unstuck because we've had these high expectations, maybe based on where we live, and
right,
then when we come here, it's a little bit different.
right.
So this is a very good topic for you guys as well to just get an idea of what the average is and to have that in your expectation.
I think it's interesting as well, the salary level and the
Mm.
way the society's put together. But we'll get to that
Yep.
after.
Yeah, let's do that
So
after.
it seems here the first is that a good rule of thumb, the rule of thumb, a good salary in Japan are around 4 million.
I wish I
So
was making that.
4 million, yeah.
Yeah.
4 million, you're going to be able to have a pretty nice home and probably
Mm.
raise kids
Mm.
comfortably,
Yep,
right?
it's fair.
So here's the summary of the highest paying jobs for foreigners in Japan. So we have 11 of them here. Um, from English teacher, and this is the monthly salary, right?
Mm. Yep. And
299.4 thousand. Okay,
but
right.
but we should add that this is average, guys. This is
Average.
so yeah. So some of you might be seeing that lowest and you're like, oh, this is an outrage. Average.
Right.
Average.
Average, yeah.
Yeah.
There's people who make less,
Yep.
and there's people who make a lot more,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, and customer service,
Yep.
this is going to be 380 a month, right?
And and I think with customer service, this is one of those jobs, guys, careers that is a very viable entry level alternative to education. So if you are thinking, usually, like, look, teaching is just not for me, maybe you know that, and that's fine, that's great.
Right.
Customer service is another great way to get into Japan. Obviously, right now, it's kind of quiet, as you could imagine.
Right.
But when it was active, a couple of years ago, and when it will be active once this is all moved on, this was probably our second largest source of introductions was to the hospitality customer service industry. Um,
Right.
Lots of famous hotels. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some good positions,
Yeah.
especially in tourism and hotels
Yep.
and stuff like that. Yeah. Surprisingly, chefs,
Yep. We got
they make
chefs
good
as well.
money. Taxi
They do.
drivers make great money.
They
Bilingual
do.
taxi drivers,
Yeah.
better money than English teachers, definitely. And above that is recruitment, number 9, 428. And that's an average because I
Yep.
know recruiters that make double that easy, and I know recruiters that make half of that.
Yep.
So
I just want to talk a little bit, as much as I can, about each industry, or my sort of
Hmm.
thoughts on them in Japan. And I'm no by no means an expert, but we are a recruiting agency here, so I can talk a little bit about recruiting. Um, Guys, a lot of people have a negative image towards the recruiting job. They think, maybe they've got a friend that's like, oh, recruiting, churn and burn, blah, blah, blah. But actually, there is some really good organizational HR skills that you can learn from recruiting that will put you in good stead for a whole number of corporate roles. Like, I've spoken to marketers and salespeople that can't really organize their systems, and I've been able to help them with that because of the skills and the things I learned with recruiting, because it will teach you to be very organized,
Yeah,
and you become very good at talking to people.
yeah,
I think there's a lot of benefits to being recruiting. Brian, I did recruiting, I think, 2 years with this company before
right.
I moved here. So yeah, it's a great job, guys.
Yeah,
Recommend
recruiting
recruiting.
is one of the most basic HR skills that there is.
Mm,
And it's easy to move on from a
yep,
recruitment job into some HR position and
absolutely.
work in another area, right? If it's compensation or training or onboarding,
Mm,
there's all kinds of different things. It's a wide field.
yep.
And okay, after that is number 8, engineer, about 500,000. Yeah, it depends on the type of engineer, right?
Yeah. I can't really speak on this one because I have no real connection to the engineering field. But yeah, maybe for those of you guys that are out there watching, if you're an engineer in Japan,
Yeah,
maybe tell us a story while we're
yeah.
talking,
Drop
and we
us a
can,
comment.
yeah, and we'll cover it towards the end. Um, Definitely software engineers, Brian. I feel there's demand for. I'm seeing a lot of software engineers coming through, um, even now, even in COVID. In fact, more so
Right,
in
more
COVID.
so.
Yeah. It's all part of the big e-commerce boom that's
Right.
happening.
Well, I mean,
Mm.
even now they actually started having a digital ministry
Oh,
in Japan, like an actual government agency in charge of digital affairs, and so there's much more movement in that area than ever
mm,
before. So
yeah. I
that's
bet
a good thing, I think.
they'll still use the fax machine though. Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Anyway,
Actually, let's go back to
okay.
that. Sales and marketing. After that, 566. That's a little high, but it depends on the type of sales and marketing you're doing,
That's
right?
so true.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
with with marketing, I can speak from my experience and also from other marketing firms that I've spoken to here. And Brian, you can definitely share
Yeah,
some stories with us after this. But I'm going to say, guys, if you're new to the field of marketing and you have to choose a place to start, don't start with the creatives, start with the analytics, start with the
yeah,
data. It's
yeah.
not, there's so many people that can make creatives.
Right,
It's not needed. For what they want, what the
right,
companies want, is someone that can read data.
right.
Very important.
Yeah. You can always learn how to use Photoshop later,
Yeah, yeah,
but knowing how to interpret the data
yeah.
and knowing what these things mean is
What's a
very
good
important.
CPA?
Yeah,
What's the KPI? Yeah,
yeah. I mean, being able to talk their language.
yep. It's all acronyms.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. After that is IT professional,
Mm,
and that doesn't always mean just a coder